Throughout my career, I've constructed buildings intended to endure a century, meticulously calculating every beam, stress-testing foundations, and placing each load-bearing wall with precision. Translating this rigor into my personal life, I applied it to my 3-year relationship with Saskia, living together for 2 years in the same penthouse and being engaged for 1 year. I believed I had explored every aspect of what we'd built, convinced that our foundation was unshakable. Alas, I was mistaken. My name is Stellan, 34 years old, leading an architectural firm focusing on commercial developments, where a minor miscalculation can lead to substantial losses. Perhaps that's why I learned early to confirm everything, never to presume, always to scrutinize the blueprints twice. However, love made me complacent, love made me trusting. Just 3 days before our wedding, this faith was shattered like brittle glass, starting with something seemingly insignificant, setting up a new iPad for our honeymoon. We were en route to the Maldives, having reserved an overwater villa 7 months prior. I desired fresh devices for the journey, preloaded with our preferred shows and tunes for the flights. Upon syncing the newly purchased iPad with our joint cloud account, an unforeseen incident transpired. Saskia's message archives started downloading concurrently with mine, a technical hiccup likely caused by a setting she inadvertently activated months ago. I almost disregarded it and closed the app, moving on with my night. However, upon noticing his name, Jagger, even the mere sight of those 6 characters caused a knot to form in my stomach. Jagger was Saskia's former lover, known for his reckless artist lifestyle, motorcycles, leather jackets, a different city every few months. Saskia described him as a phase she went through in her mid-20s, a mistake she claimed to have outgrown. She informed me they hadn't communicated in years. However, the timestamps on the message exchange suggested otherwise. The last conversation was from the previous weekend. Over the weekend, when Saskia disclosed she was at a spa retreat with her bridesmaids, I found myself settling down gradually. My systematic architect mind took control, suppressing emotions. I read through the messages casually at first, exchanging pleasantries about catching up. It's been quite some time, you haven't changed a bit. We had the typical conversation people engage in when they sense an impending revelation. Then the tone of her messages shifted. Saskia mentioned one last chance before she assumes the role of the conventional wealthy wife. Jagger replied with uncertainty. "Are you absolutely sure about this?" Her response followed. "I need to rid myself of you from my system. After Saturday, I'll be locked into this life. It might as well be a reminder of what it feels like to desire someone genuinely." I read that sentence 3 times. Each time a chill ran through me, not with fury but coldness, like witnessing a building's foundation fracture during a stress test. You don't shout, you record. I continued reading. Their conversation described a weekend at a boutique hotel 2 hours away from the city. The same date Saskia had claimed to be at the spa. Timestamped messages perfectly coincided with photos she had sent me from her retreat. Photos I now understood were carefully arranged to conceal where she truly was. However, this situation surpassed a mere affair. It was worse due to certain factors. Lenora, Saskia's mother, was aware, and I discovered that thread subsequently. There was a separate conversation between Saskia and her mother, running parallel to the messages with Jagger. In this conversation, Lenora wrote, "Everything is under control, you are being careful." Saskia replied, "Yes, mother, I'm not an idiot. Jagger knows the arrangement. 1 weekend, then I will be Mrs. Stellan forever." Lenora's response left me feeling icy cold. "It's all right, release your doubts post the wedding. Our family business can't accommodate any second thoughts afterwards. You must maintain your resolve regarding this partnership." A line in Lenora's message made me understand their true nature. "Don't jeopardize the wedding, Saskia. We require his investment," the third one, not because we care for him or believe he's right for you, but as an investment. I discovered later that this family was on the verge of bankruptcy, needing me as a financial asset rather than a partner or future spouse. I spent hours in my office that night, unable to sleep, instead creating a timeline, downloading every message and correlating locations with timestamps. I retrieved credit card statements from our shared accounts, detailing hotel stays, restaurant bills, and fuel purchases that mapped out where Saskia had physically been. By dawn, I had a comprehensive, indisputable picture of her movements, all neatly compiled. An older me might have confronted her instantly, displayed the evidence, yelled, sought answers, given her an opportunity to weep, contort the facts in her favor. However, I am not someone who constructs things only to witness their collapse. I'm a man knowledgeable about controlled demolition. The wedding was 3 days away. Saskia's parents had invested tens of thousands in non-refundable deposits for the venue, catering, flowers, and band. Everything was secured. They had insisted on managing these details themselves, claiming they wanted to make significant contributions to our special day. What I now grasped was that they were gambling everything on this wedding taking place. My entire financial destiny hinged on the partnership deal I was set to seal with Saskia's father a week post-honeymoon. A deal that would essentially make me the dominant investor in their struggling real estate business, their predicament being dire. Saskia, she yearned for that ring, her anticipated signature and access to accounts she believed would be hers one day. I made up my mind I'd let the week unfold as intended, every dinner, every toast. Every "I'm so excited and can't wait to marry you," I'd maintain a smile and then I'd dismantle every pillar of support. In the ensuing 3 days, my self-control was put to its maximum test, witnessing Saskia's laughter at the rehearsal dinner, hearing Lenora toast to our bright future ahead, seeing Saskia's father extend a handshake and call me his already son. I gave an approving nod, assumed my part impeccably, while my lawyer secretly prepared a distinct document, not the partnership agreement we had painstakingly negotiated for months. Instead, it was a binding withdrawal from all proposed deals with Saskia's father's firm, sealed and incontestable. A day before our planned flight to the Maldives, I organized a low-key farewell dinner, inviting only Saskia, her parents, and myself. I expressed my intention to present them with a parting gift, a token of gratitude for their familial acceptance prior to our departure. On that night, Saskia was luminous. Her hair was styled elegantly, makeup meticulously applied, adorning a dress I had purchased for her 3 months ago. She frequently touched my arm, leaning in, playing the part of the devoted fiancée, and her parents seemed overjoyed. Lenora couldn't stop praising the imminent perfection of our plans. At dinner following their honeymoon, Saskia's father subtly suggested future endeavors involving a partnership agreement, which he believed she would endorse. Upon dessert being served, she rose from her seat. "Tomorrow we depart," I stated. "I wish to bestow something upon you, a modest token of appreciation for all that this family has signified to me." I fetched a leather portfolio from beside my seat and positioned it on the table before Saskia's father. "Consider this a sneak peek," I said, "of what our shared future might entail." They seemed about to seize it. Lenora's eyes were ravenous. Saskia's father was already beaming with expectation. He unveiled the portfolio. The initial page displayed a printed screenshot, a message from Saskia to Jagger, one last time before I assumed the role of the monotonous wealthy spouse. His complexion paled as he scrutinized it. Then he moved to the following pages: time-stamped photographs, hotel bills, location data, a comprehensive forensic recreation of the weekend Saskia spent with her ex while feigning a visit to the spa. Saskia's smile vanished. Her complexion turned pale. She tried to speak but could not find the words. Lenora snatched the portfolio from her husband. Her gaze swept across the pages, and I witnessed the instant she recognized her own messages were among them. Her advice to Saskia, her encouragement, her instructions to ensure this wedding took place. However, I saved the most significant revelation for the concluding pages. They weren't merely evidence of infidelity. They contained something far more devastating. They were transcripts of Saskia's conversations with Jagger from their night together, where the dialogue revolved around money, plans, and the subsequent course of action. Jagger inquired, "What about your parents? Won't they demand a share of this?" Saskia publicly declared in bold letters for all to see, "My parents are financially dependent drains who have relied on me for years, hoping I'd rescue them. Once I get control of Stellan's accounts, I'll give them minor funds to hush them enough to prevent noise. Then we can truly enjoy the substantial money." The room fell into an absolute quiet. I looked at Saskia, then her mother, then her father. In conversation, I told them that their daughter intended to drain me financially and leave you with nothing. "You have my congratulations," as I stood up and adjusted my coat. "The wedding is off. The partnership agreement has been nullified. My lawyers filed the termination this afternoon. The funds you deposited for the venue, catering, and other expenses are non-refundable and are in your names. I hope you saved receipts." Lenora spoke up first. "Stellan, let's discuss." I asked, "What is there to discuss?" "You were aware that your daughter was involved with another man and encouraged it because you needed my money. I have the messages. There's nothing left to discuss." Saskia's father stared at her, not in a protective manner, but with a darker expression. He had just learned that his own child intended to cut him off as soon as she secured my ring. "Daughter," Saskia began, "I didn't mean." You called us leeches, he replied, his voice trembling. You told me you would give us scraps. I was merely joking. I didn't. Lenora spoke up quietly, reading from the transcript. We don't make a sound. I didn't need to say anything more. The bomb had exploded, and now they were tearing each other apart without any help from me. I picked up my coat, walked towards the door, and stopped. For your sake, I said, I did care for you, Saskia. I would have given you a genuine life, but you wanted a business deal, so here is your final settlement. I left the restaurant to the sound of raised voices. The next morning, I flew alone to the Maldives. My overwater villa was as beautiful as I'd imagined, crystal clear water stretching to the horizon, broken only by gentle waves. A king-sized bed that I never had to share. My phone rang incessantly for the first 2 days with apologies, excuses, threats from Saskia, Lenora, and even her father. On the third day, I blocked every number. A mutual friend contacted me through an unblocked channel, telling me what happened after I left the restaurant. Saskia and her parents had a complete breakdown. Her father refused to speak to her. Lenora blamed Saskia for destroying their last chance. Saskia, in turn, blamed her mother for pushing her towards me. Their family wasn't just broken, it was at war. The wedding deposits amounting to over $60,000 were lost, all in their names. The partnership that was supposed to save their firm vanished within a month. Saskia's father filed for bankruptcy protection. Saskia tried to contact me one more time, 3 weeks later, sending a handwritten letter to my office. She wrote that she had made a terrible mistake, that Jagger meant nothing, and that she had always loved me and hoped I could find it in my heart to forgive her. The letter went straight into the shredder without being opened. I kept one thing from the entire experience, an empty leather portfolio. I keep it in my home office as a reminder. Trust but verify, designed for permanence, but always know where the load-bearing walls are, and never ever build a life with someone who sees you as nothing more than a blueprint for their own escape. I'm 35 now, single, successful. My firm has landed 3 major contracts in the past year. I bought a house outside the city, one I designed myself, no shared cloud accounts, no joint anything. People sometimes ask if I regret my actions or feel guilty about them. I don't. Saskia made her choice. Her mother made her choice. Her father went along with it all. Each of them saw me as a means to an end. All I did was show them the blueprints they thought I'd never see. If your foundation is built on lies, eventually, the whole structure comes down. I just ensured I wasn't standing inside when it collapsed. Despite Harvard findings that individuals underestimate their personal divorce risk at around 12%, they accurately recognize the national divorce rate as nearly 50%. However, most people mistakenly believe their relationship is unique. Interestingly, only a small percentage of couples, 5–10%, draft prenuptial agreements, yet 63% of divorced financial analysts claim that prenups reduce hostile court disputes significantly. This irony lies in the fact that financial conflicts are among the strongest indicators of divorce. A prenup doesn't signify a plan for failure. Rather, it involves addressing tough financial matters before emotions take over. Stellan didn't possess a prenup, but he had something equally valuable: documentation. His cloud backups, time-stamped messages, served as crucial evidence when things disintegrated. The takeaway: safeguard yourself with paperwork before you need it, as by then it's often too late to gather proof.